Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to walk through a teardown and rebuild of brake calipers. These are going to be front calipers from a 1982 CB900 Custom. So, all the older bikes of this style, the brakes are going to be similar. Newer bikes may be a little bit different of a setup. This is a dual piston setup. Some of the tools and things you'll need are, you're going to be your basic 14, 12 screwdrivers, stuff that you should have on hand with a basic set of tools. Okay, so this is your caliper before anything's been done, so you can pull off the bike. So first thing we're going to do is get the pads out. This style of caliper is spring-loaded. It's got pins that go through it. The hardware that's underneath is putting tension on the pads, so I'll show you how that's going to come apart. There's a clip that's holding on the pins with this bolt right here. Your setup may be similar if you have the same setup, maybe a little bit different. You may not have this kind of setup at all. Okay, so that's going to come off, and then hopefully we can just push the pins out. Alright, and remember, we're setting aside everything. We're going to reuse everything that we couldn't buy. This stuff is so old, there's only so much of it that I was able to actually replace. Okay, so as soon as I took that pin out, you can see the pads come loose here. So, you want to make sure you don't drop stuff as you're taking it out. Make sure you account for everything. Alright, so I pull my pins out. My pads are going to fall out. Okay, so now that those are out, I'm going to get these pistons out. Don't be shy about how you get these out, since we're rebuilding the whole damn thing. You want to make sure though that you at least have them pushed out a little bit, so before you take it off, you want to kind of pump these out a little bit. I'm going to grab them with vice grips because these ones are stuck really bad. Yours may or may not be in this bad a condition. I bought this bike non-op. It sat in the garage for 15 years, untouched, unran. Alright, so it's just a matter of getting it loose just a little bit. Alright, so that's one. That's basically what it's going to be like. So don't be shy. I pried a little bit. You can see this stuff's pretty durable. So as long as you don't get crazy, you're probably not going to do a whole lot of damage. So that's basically the process. The second one usually comes out a little easier when you have room. Or if you only have a one piston caliper, then you're done and you can get to the cleaning portion. So we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so now that we've got the pistons out, we can get down to the actual stripping, cleaning. So this one, I have hardware that's in here. This is part of the spring-loaded operation. There's quite a few of the older ones that have this. Yours may not. You want to remove that without damaging it. Because if you do have an older bike, you'll probably run into the same problem I have. You can't find any of this stuff. So we're going to have to clean this up and reuse it. Hopefully yours isn't damaged too badly. It's just a nightmare in here. Okay, so inside you see your two seals. These are toast. If you have a rebuild kit, you're going to pull these out. If you're pulling these out, you're going to need to replace them anyway. They're going to be total trash. Just get in there with a screwdriver, a pick, whatever you got, something thin and sharp, and pull them out. Trying your best not to score the edges. You'll see in here there are bits that are, I wouldn't say they're sensitive, but there is an edge here, and you want to do your best to preserve that edge if you can. Alright, so inside there are edges here, and we're going to have to go through and We'll clean all this corrosion out. Mine's a little more corroded than others, unless you did what I did and bought a really, really old bike and you're just trying to fix it up, then you may be in the same position I am here. Alright, so the inner seals, which are going to be the larger seals. So those are going to come out. All your seals are out. You may or may not be having to replace the bleeder valve. If so, you pull that out. This slide, which these type of bracketed calipers are going to have this type of slide, and you just force that guy out. You might have to grab it with a pair of pliers. Be very careful with this. This is actually a machined piece here. So if you got to use calipers to coax or pliers to coax it out, be really, really gentle. Alright, so like I said, this is machined aluminum. Yours will be similar. It'll either be aluminum or steel. Don't mess it up. Don't mess up in here all these edges. Otherwise your new seals won't fit. Okay, so at this point you're just going to clean, drastically clean everything. You want to get all the grease, corrosion, all this chewed up crap that's going to be inside these seals. You got to get all that out or it's not going to clean up. Okay, so take your time, get in here, clean the hell out of these things, because you're probably never going to do this again. So do it right the first time. And once you got it all cleaned up, we'll go ahead and move into reassembling. Okay, so here's the whole caliper completely stripped down. I've got in my kit, it gives me a couple different sizes for these slide pin shields here, the little dust boots. Depending on what your setup is, you might have options in your rebuild kit, you might not. If you've never done these before, these are a nightmare. So I suggest getting yourself, I use Sil Glide, but any kind of lubricant that's high temperature isn't going to dissolve with water exposure, things like that. Sil Glide's my preference. I really think everybody should use it. It's what I use at the auto shop I work at, and it's all I use on my bike. So I might skip around a little bit on this, because anybody who's ever done these are a nightmare. Getting these on, you're going to fight with them for a while. They're going to make you hate life a little bit, but just suffer through it, get it done. I'll let you watch me struggle here for a minute with it, and then we'll move ahead. Okay, that one went in fairly painlessly, but there you go, full lube. Alright, the next step is going to be getting these rings. Most calipers are going to be set up this way, where you have at least 2 of these seals. So you can see on the inside there's going to be a thicker one and a thinner one. Okay, so you want to make sure, in my case, the thicker one's going to go in the back. So I'm going to insert that first. Again, I'm going to take my Sil Glide and I'm going to lubricate up this whole thing here, because the last thing we want is any kind of kinking or tearing. If it tears, very, very important. If you get a tear, a nick, a cut, a gouge, anything in the seal, you have to get a new one. It is not going to hold. It's going to leak. It's going to be a nightmare, and it's going to be super dangerous for you while you're riding. So please, if you get any damage in these seals, just replace them. The money for a kit, it's not worth losing your brakes while you're riding and risking your life over, okay? Okay, so once you got the seals in, both seals, take your piston. Again, we're going to lubricate the piston up real nice. Don't worry about over lubricating it. It's going to get pushed off when it goes down through the seals. And I'm going to work these pistons down in. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Probably not going to sit here and just struggle with this on camera for a few minutes. So it's one of those things that's going to take a little bit of work, take a little bit of time, a little bit of finesse. You'll eventually get them worked in. There's one, kind of. Alright, one. Alright, so here's the caliper. The piston's pushed all the way in the seals. So because my bike's so old, I couldn't get hardware, so I have my old hardware that I've cleaned up a little bit here. That I'm going to reassemble, and I'll go through this reassembly. These calipers are going to be similar to my style bike, the 900s, the 750s, and the 600s of the older era, since mine is a 1982. So that, you know, this hardware style is fairly straightforward. You basically just shove these bastards in there. And I've got hardware here for my bracket. The main reason I'm going to walk through this is because these types of calipers, the pads are actually held in under tension. It's not like an automotive caliper where you just take the slide pin out and they fall right out. You can see there's some holes that actually go all the way through, and there is a bracket that mounts and it holds these pins in place as they go through the caliper. So the brake pads, and another thing, be careful not to get any lubrication or grease on the friction side of your brake pads. You start out with noisy brake pads, that's not what you want. Okay, so this one, that bottom piece of hardware makes this a little bit spring loaded. Okay, so again, with the Seal Glide, I'm gonna lube up my pins. Alright, so I got my pins started on that one pad. Again, being careful not to get any lubrication. Hold that down, and that pins through. Alright, and that pins through. Alright, so you can see here they seat all the way back, all the way through. This one's got a bracket on it. So that is your complete caliper rebuild. Pretty simple, actually. It's, you know, it seems a little more intimidating than it really is. Just make sure you have all the tools you need when you start. Be patient, lubricate everything. You know, have fun with it. Be safe. If you get any concerns, you know, get to a mechanic. Brakes or something. It's nice to save the money, but it's not worth your life. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Questions, comments, let me know down below. And you know, any requests for anything you want to see, I'm going to be doing a valve cover gasket video pretty soon. Again, really simple thing, but you know, people get intimidated by stuff like that, and I'll show you how easy it really can be. And this is my bike's hella old, so if you want to see a repair done, chances are my bike already needs it, and I'd be more than happy to get a video up for you. Alright, take care, ride safe, keep the rubber side down.